The 50 Shades set was once the center of discussion not only because of the hot scenes, but also because of the rumors surrounding the relationship between the characters in real life. In particular, the rare moment when Dakota Johnson and Amelia Warner, Jamie Dornan's wife, met became a mystery that made the public constantly speculate. The unexpected encounter. According to some behind-the-scenes witnesses, the meeting was not planned. Dakota Johnson, during a break in filming, walked out to the lounge area where Amelia Warner visited her husband. The atmosphere was initially so quiet that it was tense, because everyone understood that the complicated on-screen relationship between Jamie and Dakota had raised many doubts about real feelings. Eyes and polite smiles. Dakota approached to say hello, giving a slight smile, but her eyes still had a hint of caution. Amelia, known for her reserved personality, responded politely, but her tightly clasped hands seemed to betray the tension within. Those present said that the atmosphere in the room froze for a few seconds before Jamie stepped in, inadvertently acting as a bridge to ease the situation. Jamie Dornan in a difficult position. Standing between his wife and his close co-star, Jamie was said to be quite flustered. He quickly diverted the conversation to safe topics, music, the weather, and plans after filming. However, according to some sources, his gaze on Dakota was enough to silence the audience, and then he quickly took Amelia's hand as if to assert clear boundaries. Rumors and truth. The incident later became the trigger for a series of rumors. Amelia was unhappy that Jamie was too close to Dakota. Dakota felt kept at a distance. But according to some members of the crew, the tension was only fleeting. Both women are professionals and mature enough not to turn a meeting into a conflict. Was it really tense behind the scenes? In fact, the atmosphere behind the 50 Shades set is often exaggerated. The bond between Jamie and Dakota is simply the result of working together on the series for many years, while Amelia Warner still maintains a strong support position. However, it was the polite indifference in that meeting that made witnesses believe that, somewhere, the underlying tension still exists. Right finger, the story is still unfinished, because none of the three main characters have ever directly shared the details. And perhaps, that is the reason why the Dakota-Amelia meeting has become one of the most fascinating secrets behind the scenes of Hollywood. Director's cut, the tense conversation between Dakota Johnson and Amelia Warner. If in the behind-the-scenes version, both Dakota Johnson and Amelia Warner stopped at polite smiles, in director's cut, the situation was much more tense. This is the version that the audience is always curious about. What would happen if the two most important women around Jamie Dornan really faced each other with real emotions? The opening is not easy. Dakota hesitated for a few seconds before saying, "Amelia, I know my appearance may make you uncomfortable, but everything between Jamie and me, on film, is work." Amelia, with a cold look, replied, "I understand work, but sometimes work goes beyond the screen, right?" The whole room fell into silence. Those present even held their breath. Jamie stepped in the middle. Jamie Dornan appeared at the right time, his face tensed when he saw the atmosphere. He tried to soothe. "Dakota is a colleague, a friend. Nothing more, nothing less. I appreciate your support, Amelia." But Amelia's eyes remained unchanged, making Jamie feel awkward like never before. The contest of words. Dakota continued, "You don't need to worry. I respect Jamie's family. I have no intention of interfering." Amelia gave a slight ironic smile. "That's good, because family is the only thing I don't allow anyone to touch." That sentence was like a cold knife cutting through the air, causing Jamie to immediately step forward, put his arm around his wife's shoulder, and affirm, "You are always the only one." The words ended with a lingering echo. Dakota smiled awkwardly, nodded, and left the room. The sound of her heels faded away, leaving a heavy atmosphere. Some members of the crew whispered that, no matter how strong Dakota was, Amelia's gaze that day was definitely unforgettable for her. right finger, and it was this director's cut that fueled rumors that behind the scenes of 50 Shades there were not only hot scenes on screen, but also a secret war in real life. Hollywood shock. Leaked news from Dakota Johnson, Amelia Warner encounter. No one expected that the seemingly private meeting between Dakota Johnson and Amelia Warner would be leaked to the press by a member of the film crew. Within hours, the story spread at a dizzying speed, turning the 50 Shades backstage into an unprecedented media storm. The press exploded. Major newspapers simultaneously headlined, Dakota Johnson versus Amelia Warner. The 50 Shades backstage is as tense as a string. Amelia Warner sends an ultimatum to Jamie Dornan? Dakota Johnson and Amelia Warner. The secret war over Jamie Dornan? These headlines immediately climbed straight to the top trending, making the audience unable to take their eyes off. Social networks exploded. On Twitter and Instagram, millions of comments appeared overnight. Dakota's fans thought she was misunderstood, just a victim of an awkward atmosphere. Meanwhile, Amelia's fans praised her strength and unshakable first wife charisma. Hashtag Team Dakota and hashtag Team Amelia became a fierce battle that lasted for many days. Jamie Dornan in the eye of the storm. Jamie Dornan, who is usually quiet, suddenly became the most mentioned name. Reporters surrounded her, constantly asking questions. Who do you choose? Is the marriage broken? Is Dakota really just a co-star? At a later event, when pressed, Jamie just sighed and said, "Don't turn work into an emotional game. I respect both women, my wife and my colleague." However, those words were not enough to quell the wave of controversy. Hollywood is constantly talking. In the film industry, the story became a hot topic at every party. Some directors praised Dakota's professionalism, while others worried that this scandal would affect Jamie's contracts. Amelia Warner also suddenly became the center of attention, from being a secretive mother of three, to a symbol of pride and courage. Until now, the truth behind the encounter has never been publicly acknowledged by the three main characters. But that makes the public believe even more that, behind the halo of 50 Shades, there is a Hollywood shock that has never been fully told. Outlander connection. When the 50 Shades scandal spreads to Outlander, it was thought that all the noise would stop behind the scenes of 50 Shades, but no, Hollywood never lets scandals sleep. Just a few weeks after the historic encounter between Dakota Johnson and Amelia Warner, a new rumor exploded. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson are being considered for a special project related to Outlander. Chain rumor. Dakota Johnson joins the Outlander universe? Jamie Dornan and Katrina Balfe in a new triangle spiral. Immediately, Outlander fans were confused. Was this a disguised PR for the next Outlander season, or just a direct consequence of the 50 Shades scandal? Katrina Balfe was suddenly dragged into it. Fans quickly connected the incident. Katrina Balfe, Jamie Dornan's real-life best friend, was accused of being a witness and mediator in Jamie's behind-the-scenes sharing. Some websites even created a scenario. Katrina accidentally became the balance point in the noisy love triangle between Dakota, Jamie, Amelia. On Twitter, the hashtag #JamieSauTriona suddenly became hot again, accompanied by countless dramatic memes. Outlander stands between two lines. Outlander producers are said to be not very happy when the film's name was dragged into the media storm. However, from another perspective, public opinion believes that this scandal has given Outlander free promotion. Analytical articles say, with Jamie Dornan, Outlander will attract more 50 Shades audiences. Jamie Dornan faces two fronts. Jamie is almost exhausted when he has to protect his family image, maintain his friendship with Dakota and Katrina, and is under pressure from the studio. In a private event, he is said to have confessed, "All my life I just wanted to act, but Hollywood never lets me stand still. Hollywood is crazy." Fan pages that compile this call it a chain scandal. From behind the scenes of 50 Shades right pointing arrow press explosion right pointing arrow reaching Outlander right pointing arrow dragging Katrina Balfe in. One blogger even sarcastically said, "One day, who knows, we might have a spin-off of 50 Shades of Outlander."